Ну вот.
The year is the turn of the millennium, and stomping into the ring with his perfectly round battle armor is Eric Butterbean Esch, the human wrecking ball, with fists like cholesterol cannons. A man who redefined the ideal physique, Butterbean didn't just defeat opponents, he devoured them. And if you were crazy enough to stand in his way, he'd chew through you like you were his favorite hamburger.
Peter McNeely pulling McNeely over and
This walking goldmine for McDonald's also waded into kickboxing and even stepped into MMA, toppling giants one after another and making legends like Mike Tyson avoid him. Here is the story of the Bean Man. The White Grizzly, Butterbean Eric Esch. This is fighting his art, let's go. Butterbean made his boxing debut in the early 90s, and by 1995 he was stacking wins like pancakes, 9 on the plate, and still hungry for more. And his hunger was tamed temporarily when he faced Doug Dangerous Norris, a man built like an action figure and with a track record of wrecking regional tournaments.
Introducing Dangerous Doug Norris.
From the bell, Norris used his reach, jabbing and circling to keep the stocky wrecking ball at bay. But his confidence quickly turned to cockiness as he decided to brawl with Butterbean. Norris had the power to destroy, but not the batteries that could last long, and his gas tank quickly emptied. That's when Butterbean served the KO special with a thunderous right hand. Butterbean didn't wait long for his next fight. Just 2 weeks later, he stepped in with Paul Springer, basically a more pumped-up version of himself. But it only took 30 seconds for Butterbean to prove that his body was, in fact, the final boss of male perfection. After steamrolling 3 more opponents, Butterbean stepped into the ring in 1995 with Pat Jackson in State Line, Nevada. Jackson came in looking furious, and the kind of furious you only get when someone eats your fries without asking.
Try to walk through his opponents more and fight more instinctively. If he tries to get too fundamental opponents more and fight more instinctively. If he tries to get too fundamentally oriented, which over the long haul he needs, it might hurt him in some of these fights here.
Jackson moving, and that's what you do against him. He also jab. You can't miss.
His iron fists nearly dented Butterbean's legendary cholesterol armor. Jackson peppered the big man with jabs, basically giving Butterbean a free cardio session.
Well, so far this is better than scoring anyway.
But what Jackson didn't realize was that he was just increasing Bean's appetite for destruction. Soon Butterbean started tenderizing Jackson's ribs like a butcher prepping for a barbecue. Jackson slowed down, his punches coming less often, and his gas tank emptier than a salad bar at a BBQ festival. At one point, Butterbean's barrage was so wild that even the referee caught a few stray shots.
Referees cannot protect themselves at all times the way fighters do it. We've seen referees.
By the end of the round, Jackson wanted no more. Butterbean had defeated yet another opponent and accidentally scored a knockdown over the referee in the process.
Well, the fight is stopped not because Terry Wood got knocked down, but because Pat Jackson doesn't want to go on.
In March 1996, a brave challenger named James Baker stepped up to face Butterbean. As soon as the bell rang, it was feeding time. Butterbean wasted no time and started baking Baker with a barrage of punches fresh out of the oven.
It's like to see. He is all over his opponent, James Baker.
Seconds later, Baker was on the canvas as another victim added to Butterbean's ferocious cooking.
First, in his last 4 fights, and this one is over. And now...
Next up, Richard Davis stepped into the ring full of confidence and possibly bad decisions, declaring he was ready to take on Butterbean. Bean didn't bother with trash talk. He preferred a different language. Fists. The bell rang and social distancing immediately went out the window. Davis, clearly mistaking Butterbean for a harmless cholesterol mountain, started taunting him. Within seconds, Butterbean introduced Davis's jaw to his signature left hook and arranged a face-first meeting with the canvas. 1 minute in, Davis was staring at the ceiling, wondering what bus just hit him. Next up on Butterbean's buffet of beatdowns was Jonathan Whitfield, a man who flexed hard during the stare-down, as if muscles alone could scare a 170-kilogram wrecking ball. Unfortunately for him, Butterbean's only real fear was a tasteless Big Mac. The bell rang, and the feast began.
Rose, who also had a jab, was a sparring partner and also was sparring in 6. Jonathan Whitfield trying to establish that. And you see Butterbean here, we saw in his last fight, a marked contrast in style where he doesn't really just
reverting back to that. Look how he starts to rush in and he stops. Starts and stops. Right hand.
Whitfield fought cautiously, trying to play the cerebral assassin. But Butterbean doesn't do chess as he does demolition.
Butterbean contest on, and they say all these people that look like Butterbean.
Well, Butterbean with 19 wins, 9 first round, just not good busy enough as Whitfield. There's that wild swing, Butterbean.
Moments later, Bean started unloading sledgehammers, sending Whitfield wobbling around like a rookie on roller skates.
But you're starting to see now a little more of the patience by Butterbean. Now he rushes in, he sees an opportunity. And
Can't grab
him around the waist.
Yeah, but you know, it amazes me because everybody goes in there swinging Butterbean's head. Thanks to Butterbean. He has been doing some schooling. You know, he's also great with his fans too, Al. In the hotel last night, kids were coming up rubbing his head.
Then came the opening, and Butterbean detonated a right hand that sent Whitfield crashing to the mat like a sack of potatoes dropped from a truck.
You want to be famous? Well, that's not the way. Well, we're coming down to the conclusion third.
Another fight and another guy biting the dust. The following year, Butterbean's knockout streak thundered on, with each victory adding another brutal chapter to his legend. Though he never held the biggest belts, his fame ballooned as fast as his legendary bulk, turning him into a pop culture giant. Late-night TV hosts couldn't get enough of him, and the spotlight was as heavy as his 400-pound frame.
I mean, is it fun being a celebrity now? You having a good time with it?
I have a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, I get to meet all kinds of people.
The world quickly learned to know the Bean Man, and he was immortalized as the face of the EA Sports Toughman contest game. He also etched into the iconic Knockout Kings lineup, alongside boxing immortals like Muhammad Ali and Floyd Mayweather Jr. When he stepped onto the set of the cult hit Jackass, the madness only escalated.
Ich bin Butterbean.
Heute werden wir ein bisschen boxen.
Back in the ring, Butterbean faced Scott Lindecker, a mountain of a man tipping the scales well over 300 pounds and built like a tank with fists of steel. From the opening bell, Lindecker launched a furious barrage, fists flying like bullets, each shot aimed to break the Bean Man's legendary guard.
I think with Butterbean, you have to try to get him past the first round somehow and wait for him to run out of gas.
Lindecker actually pushed Butterbean back for this
this fight, Lindecker trained for 5 days.
Yet, Butterbean absorbed every blow with the patience of a predator stalking its prey.
Likes to really get it going early in a fight. Likes to go bombs away. He's waiting for Lindecker to open himself up. No, and his punches have had no real power thus far. Otherwise, Bean would be in some trouble because these are clean shots so far. And there's a little nick above Butterbean's.
The early onslaught was nothing more than a prologue, a mere appetizer before the real feast.
Fans are imploring Butterbean here. They're waiting for a little more to happen.
As the seconds ticked away, Butterbean's eyes burned with a deadly resolve, and like a thunderclap in a quiet storm, and a devastating right hand blasted through the chaos, flooring Lindecker in a heartbeat.
Right hand puts Lindecker down. I guess not, though.
Butterbean moved in, dismantling his opponent's defense like a master craftsman tearing down a faulty wall.
Cruiserweight, but now he goes down, just getting pounded too much to the bottom.
Lindecker's mind was slipping into oblivion under the weight of those merciless punches, and he eventually went down and out.
Down goes Lindecker. Fight is over.
A few months later, Butterbean stepped into the ring with a much tougher challenger, Billy Eaton. The guy not only had the size advantage, but also rocked what could only be called the mustache of doom. The moment the bell rang, Eaton made sure everyone's worries were justified, as his very first punch sent Butterbean crashing to the canvas.
Billy. And he floors Butterbean with it.
What followed was a wild brawl straight out of boxing's golden era, with fists flying and no rules, but chaos.
Down. Butterbean rushes out, no defense, hands down.
Butterbean doesn't expect to have
Down when you look down there and see ankles like that. They got something to stand on.
Butterbean isn't coming forward as recklessly as we've seen him in the past. He would win the fight.
He's standing up.
Unless he had been knocked down.
Eaton showed off his stamina and toughness, wearing Butterbean down with heavy shots and relentless pressure.
Counting on. Butterbean doesn't pay a lot of attention to what it will take to win the fight by decision. It's not what he's going to be, and Cortez agrees and says, Butterbean, don't hit it behind the head.
Bring on, come on, let's go.
But Bean wasn't just standing there for dinner. He started handing out punches that painted Eaton's face a nice shade of red.
He figured it's a waste.
You're assuming that Butterbean for that sucker punch
For an opportunity to set the man up.
Well, I thought at first
The final bell rang, and the judges called it a majority draw. And although Eaton didn't win on paper, he definitely did in the hearts of many.
any time now that big punch could come for Butterbean.
Not giving the big man a clean shot.
Yeah, but he's getting hit hard.
Oh, he's getting punished. There's real suspense here as Butterbean faces the specter of a possible second defeat. Would it shatter his career?
Oh, but if I'm a...
Butterbean's record, once longer than a McDonald's receipt, took a major hit, but not one to let rumors stick. Butterbean demanded a rematch, and a year later, it was on. The bell signaled round one, and Butterbean went straight for the feast, unloading savage punches like a man starving after a month-long diet.
Cautiously, and in that setup...
Eaton tried to dodge and counter like a pro sniper, landing sharp headshots on the big guy.
And Will's head, that was a big target as being connected.
But what I see now is that
Butterbean doesn't pay a lot of attention to what it will take to win the fight by decision. It's not what he's expecting.
But all that only made Butterbean hungrier.
That's for sure. Start of round two. Cowboy Bill leading in the blue trunks.
and throwing 37.
Cowboy Bill leading in the blue trunks.
And throwing 37 punches and only 12.
Though Eaton landed some solid shots later, especially a nasty left right on Butterbean's chin, Bean absorbed it all and then fired back a blistering punch.
Slide to his left. He's having slide to his left. Slide to his left. He's having
Bean caught him with a left hook and dropped him.
In my opinion, Eaton was out punching him.
This fight is a close fight.
Tribute to the commission. Then him with no nutritionist. Ready to go. He got nailed with two good punches.
Not long after, Butterbean would crumple Eaton and silence the doubters, proving once again why he's the heavyweight king of knockouts.
Several mule kicks.
In February 1999, Butterbean took on Patrick Graham and showed the world that he wasn't just about raw power. He had finesse, too. This was Butterbean's turf, and Eric came out flashing a new gear, lightning-fast right hands and razor-sharp distance control. He was mixing up his attack like a master chef, dropping heavy shots over the jab, throwing in unpredictable counters, and keeping Graham guessing every second.
Out of gas with 3 rounds to go.
He's adding a little left jab to his repertoire, big shoulder, which means that he just throws a hard shot. He can hurt no more.
But Butterbean is so much into his footwork. Yep, there you go. Gil Clancy said his footwork's getting better. And he landed a body shot. Right hand to the body.
His technique had clearly leveled up, making you wonder if it was time to retire that old-school brawler image and embrace the sleek fighter beneath the bulk.
Patrick Graham responds in the last 30 seconds of the round. And Butterbean now tries to rally to finish the round. Some other things he's learned in boxing. Watch that.
Don't get it.
Don't let so much time go in between. Just relax.
Just rounders. He might have to give up his big wrestling paydays.
Even Butterbean's stamina was cruising through like a champ on a Sunday jog. Then came the moment to seal the deal. With a cheeky wink to his corner, Butterbean landed a crushing body shot that sent Graham crashing through the ropes like a rag doll. The referee had seen enough, as Butterbean had made his statement loud and clear. In 1999, Butterbean faced off with Jakey Beard, a showboater who turned the fight into a circus act. Prancing and taunting across the ring, Beard dared Butterbean to land a punch, treating the bout more like a joke than a battle.
Boxing career, but that doesn't matter because it's a tough man fight. Jackie Beard coming right at Butterbean.
But Butterbean wasn't there for laughs. He came to demolish.
Tyson, 4 rounds. That's right, he said we're both 4-round fighters. This is the second. Bean says, come on. It is interesting.
By the 3rd round, Butterbean's patience snapped. Enough of the clowning around.
It's interesting that Beard is adapting more of a pro style than he is a tough man. Right, because Bean just wants to punch it out. Looking to load up that time. Beard says, no, you hit me on the shoulder. These guys really having a good time with each other. You know, Bean took on a wrestler from the WWF not that long ago and put him in an actual 3 or 4 rounds with McNeely and still managed to get him.
With a thunderous right hand, he slammed down a sledgehammer blow that ended the showboater's antics once and for all.
Oh, a big right hand. And that dropped him. And there was nothing fluke about that. That's it. He's still out.
Beard's flashy moves couldn't save him from the inevitable, as Butterbean delivered pure destruction. Despite Butterbean winning the hearts of boxing fans and gaining more recognition than many elite fighters of his era, the pros still looked down on him. After all, how could a guy on a burger-fueled diet deserve so much attention? The boxing establishment didn't take him seriously, or didn't want to. Eric Esch was perfectly comfortable in his 4-round battles, and most top-tier boxers steered clear of stepping into his ring. The rare exception was Irish boxer Peter McNeely, infamous for his epic showdown with Mike Tyson. McNeely came in loud and proud, heading into his bout against Tyson.
If any one of you that doesn't respect me or what I'm doing or what I've been doing for the last 3 months since it was been announced, and going against a guy like this, you'd have a big dump in your pants.
But Tyson quickly knocked the Hurricane down a peg, smashing McNeely's survival instincts with brutal punches. Despite the Tyson beatdown, McNeely wasn't done. Soon, he set his sights on Butterbean. With a record boasting 44 wins, 4 losses, and 34 knockouts, McNeely was no joke. But that didn't faze the giant in the star-spangled trunks. The fight began, and Butterbean immediately targeted McNeely's chin, proving he wasn't just a punchline. McNeely fought hard, trying to land shots, but Butterbean wasn't having it as he attacked McNeely's body and head relentlessly. Then, it was like Butterbean drank some magic potion. He unleashed brutal combinations, landing punches with the precision of a sniper. The referee couldn't watch anymore and finally stepped in to stop the one-sided beatdown. The crowd was left wondering that if Butterbean could do that to one of Tyson's former opponents, then he definitely deserved a chance at the baddest man on the planet, who refused to take any call-outs seriously. After bulldozing opponent after opponent with highlight reel knockouts, Butterbean was ready to walk straight into the lion's den. In 2002, the stage was set in Norfolk, Virginia, for a showdown dripping with history and bad intentions against the brawling cult hero versus the man who once toppled Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes. Holmes was 52, and his prime years far behind him. But that piston-like jab of his could still split a guard and sting like hell. For Butterbean, who'd built his legend in short 4-round slugfests, this was a new kind of war. 10 full rounds against a ring general. The opening bell was a cold wake-up call.
Then can put in a second, third, and fourth jab, which should win. Butterbean said he ran from him, but a long time if he's a banger. But Holmes did it with his hand by Butterbean.
Holmes painted Butterbean's face with jab after jab, dismantling him piece by piece.
Off a little bit now. His jab is... Their first, but Larry Holmes tries to throw that right hand in behind him. As strong, which is the title of this fight. About a minute left to go. Overhand right power that he used in the...
The crowd could almost hear the frustration building inside the king of the 4-rounders.
He's standing there, maybe trying to get Holmes to come in so he can land that right. He doesn't want to throw the right away. He's motioning for Holmes to come in.
Butterbean caught up as rounds progressed and cracked Holmes with a thunderous right hand, rattling the legend.
Holmes gets the jab in, Butterbean has to regroup. Murray Sutherland that whenever Larry Holmes throws right.
But Holmes didn't panic, as his ears of championship grit took over.
Here comes Butterbean, he's wailing away now. That's where he was cut over the retinas is a target.
He slowed the storm, reset the tempo, and made Butterbean fight at his pace.
He wants Holmes in front of him. This round it's been Butterbean. The crowd's encouraging.
The ring became a tight phone booth, with Butterbean charging forward head first, fists flying, while Holmes slipped, countered, and popped that jab like a hammer in the night.
A certain attachment, and he has parlayed these 4 rounds late, these 4 rounds. You figure, especially in Las Vegas, he does a commercial for what else? A bonanza. But now he's figured around 10, they're going to hurt him. Mounted something of a charge earlier in the round. Looks like he was.
Butterbean was being outclassed, but he did fire off a big right hand that topped the legend, only for him to be saved by the bell.
Sends him against the ropes and ends with a little bit more curiosity.
Holmes got the nod on the scorecards, but the real story was that Butterbean had gone the distance with a bona fide icon, proving he wasn't just a novelty act. In 2003, Butterbean shocked the fight world with a bold career pivot, trading in the squared circle for the brutal, high-kicking chaos of kickboxing. The K1 organization, home to some of the most dangerous strikers on the planet, rolled out the welcome mat in June, and Butterbean's first test was Japan's own Yusuke Fujioto. Could the self-proclaimed king of the 4-rounders survive in a sport where the fists aren't the only weapons? Butterbean didn't just survive, he exploded out of the gate. Adapting instantly to the new rules, the big man stalked Fujioto with the same bad intentions he brought to boxing. And in less than 60 seconds, Fujioto was finished with a brutal flurry. Next up for Butterbean was a nightmare made flesh, Mike Bernardo. In K1, Bernardo wasn't just another fighter. He was the boogeyman and the kind of fighter who chewed through challengers and left them questioning their career choices. From the opening bell, Bernardo came out like a wrecking ball, firing savage combinations to both the head and body, each strike echoing through the arena. Butterbean's granite chin and massive frame soaked up the punishment up top, but there was one glaring target the boxer-turned-kickboxer couldn't defend like a veteran: his legs. Bernardo's kicks were merciless, chopping away at Butterbean's base like an axe to a tree. The punishment was hellish, and there was just so much even the white grizzly bear could take. Although Butterbean proved he could hang with the big boys in kickboxing and deliver crowd-pleasing wars, it soon became clear that the sport wasn't quite his kingdom. Wins and losses traded places like black and white squares on a chessboard, entertaining, yes, but not the reign of dominance he was used to. So, Esh packed up his thunderous fists and lumbered into a new battleground: mixed martial arts. Butterbean's MMA start was far from storybook, losing his debut to Giannis Sudo and settling for a draw with Michael Butzkovich. But that all changed when he ran into former UFC brawler Wesley Carrera. From the opening bell, the two went full caveman mode, trading bombs in a phone booth.
A lot of power. A high kick by Cabbage misses.
That's all.
Oh, there you go.
Butterbean absorbed big blows, shrugged them off, and decided Cabbage needed a crash course in Boxing 101, Bean Edition. The big man turned up the heat, unleashing a barrage of combinations that forced Cabbage to stand and take fire until, by the end of round 2, it was revealed that Cabbage had actually broken his elbow on Butterbean's granite skull.
Nice kick. Oh, right hand laid by Butterbean.
Oh, beautiful knee.
Beautiful
knee.
knees. Butterbean with some right hands. Antics cannot continue to eat those. Butterbean's going out now.
The Cabbage is just staying there.
Yeah, he is.
The Cabbage is just staying there.
Yeah, he is. Oh, there by Cabbage. Yeah, but you don't want to stand and trade for too many of those, though.
The win and the bragging rights went to the burger-powered juggernaut.
Oh, look at Cabbage. Cabbage right now is just wincing in pain. I don't know if he can go.
But one of Butterbean's most memorable MMA moments came against James Thompson, a man who had stared down beasts like Mariusz Pudzianowski and Bob Sapp. On paper, Thompson had every physical advantage. In reality, he seemed to burn through his energy reserves during the pre-fight stare-down. Once the cage door shut, Butterbean took over, flattening Thompson while probably thinking about his second lunch.
Right back, guys. Whoa. I feel this is going to be a different fight to Butterbean Broughton.
Yeah, it will. I think that James is going to come out there with a similar game plan.
From boxing to kickboxing to MMA, Eric Butterbean Esch kept fighting until 2013, finally hanging up the gloves at 47. But retirement didn't mean slowing down, at least. Not on the scale. Neglecting his health, Butterbean tipped past 200 kilograms, his weight now a serious threat to his life. That's when he joined the brutally titled reality show, Lose Weight or Die. It was the latest chapter in a career that had it all: knockouts, wars, humor, and heart. From under the bright lights to the toughest fight of all, the one for his own health, Butterbean's journey remains unforgettable. So where does Butterbean rank in your book? Is he an underrated cult legend, or just a larger-than-life showman? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip down combat sports history, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and join me next time. This is Fighting is Art. Thanks for watching.